Nuclear annihilation with little warning. That was the terrible fate that the generation that grew up in the 1950s and 60s was taught to fear and prepare for.
First, you duck, and then you cover.
School children were drilled on how to avoid being incinerated.
We all know the atomic bomb is very dangerous. Since it may be used against us, we must get ready for it.
Public service films urged children to keep an eye out for Soviet planes and to head for shelter when the air raid siren boomed.
You were warned, right? The flash, that's the first thing they'll be. Get away from windows, get under a desk. You had the sense that it was going to be incredibly destructive and that we would be just tiny pawns, pieces of debris. We had to hide in every crevice we could find.
Hollywood's response to this visceral fear was to produce a parade of nuclear-spawned monsters. Giant ants emerged from the site of nuclear bomb tests to attack society, as did giant radioactive spiders. And humans, bathed in terrifying radiation, grew like enormous looming symbols of destruction. The terror peaked in 1962 when the Cuban Missile Crisis brought the U.S. and Soviet Union to the brink.
This is a difficult and dangerous effort on which we have set out.
It receded as the superpowers negotiated a reduction of tensions and nuclear arsenals. But under the hawkish Ronald Reagan, fear of mutually assured destruction came roaring back.
It flares again, the nuclear fear, in the early 80s, when Ronald Reagan starts building Star Wars, MX missiles. Before the reform started in the Soviet Union, we were again at the brink.
This time, popular culture delivered not giant insects, but a realistic and powerful depiction of nuclear war in the widely watched television film called The Day After. When the Soviet Union collapsed, most Americans readily cast their nuclear nightmares away. Now, a new threat has emerged, but so far at least, the fear has not.
It's kind of surprising now, isn't it, that we seem to be in very perilous times with North Korea, but it doesn't resonate the way nuclear crises did in the past.
It's too early, perhaps, for popular culture to absorb the North Korean threat and decide how to respond. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Los Angeles.